Hello everyone, good morning. So welcome to the soft skill session. My name is Likith and I'm a soft skill trainer. So I'll be training you all on these soft skill topics. I'll be speaking in Hindi as well as English, and if you have any doubts you can ask it in the Kaizala group. अगर आपको कोई डाउट है तो आप काइजाला ग्रुप में वो डाउट को पूछ सकते हैं. One very important information, you have to post any doubt before 5 p.m. 5 बजे के अंदर आप कोई डाउट है तो आप उस ग्रुप में पूछ सकते हैं. Okay. So I'll repeat my name once again. My name is Likith and I'll be training you all on soft skills. Okay, so today we'll be learning about non-verbal communication. So that is the topic that we will be learning today. आज हम non-verbal communication इसके बारे में सीखेंगे. To start with, now what is this soft skill? It's very important to know what is this soft skill and why we have to learn soft skill. ये soft skill क्या है और soft skill क्यों सीखना है? So let's see about that. Now soft skills, they're nothing but they're the skills that characterize a person's relationship with other people. So that is the main definition of soft skill, we can say. It's a skill that characterize a person's relationship with other people. Okay, so now uh, why it is important, that's also a very important thing to learn. So it's soft skill, it's the character of a person. So अगर if I want to say it in Hindi, वो एक मनुष्य की लक्षण है जो किसी व्यक्ति के अन्य लोगों के साथ संबंधों को चिंतित करता है. Now let's see why do we have to learn soft skill? So that's a very important question. Soft skill क्यों सीखना है? So it's a competitive world. So in this competitive world, it will help you to be more productive. So that's one of the key point. Soft skill will help you to be more productive and it will help you to be more collaborative, and also it will help you to maintain a healthy environment around you. So these are the three important things why you should learn soft skills. First thing is it will help you to be more productive, it will help you to be more collaborative, and it will help you to create a healthy environment around you. So प्रोडक्टिव मतलब आपको अगर आप सॉफ्ट स्किल सीखते हो तो आपको वो उत्पादक बना देगा, प्रोडक्टिव बना देगा, कोलैबोरेटिव मतलब आपको सहयोगी बना देगा और आपके आसपास स्वास्थ्य वातावरण को बनाए रखने में मदद करेगा. सो इसलिए आपको सॉफ्ट स्किल सीखना बहुत ही ज़रूरी है. दैट इज़ द रीज़न in most of the interviews they test your soft skills. They test the way you communicate, so that once you join the organization you will be more productive and it will help in the growth of the organization. So that is why it's very important to learn soft skills. I would repeat, so it will help you to be productive, it will help you to be collaborative, and also it will help you to maintain a healthy environment. स्वास्थ्य environment maintain करने के लिए आपको help करेगा. Okay, so let's see what are the things that we will be learning in non-verbal communication. What is this non-verbal communication? Why do we have to learn this? इसे क्यों सीखना है? क्या है ये non-verbal communication? So let's see few things about it. Now, you might be knowing there is some term called as verbal communication. Verbal, इसका opposite होता है non-verbal communication. नॉन वर्बल कम्युनिकेशन में आप कोई यू विल नॉट बी यूजिंग द वर्ड्स, आप वर्ड्स को यूज करे बिना आप कम्युनिकेट करते हैं कोई किसी और से. सो नॉन वर्बल कम्युनिकेशन इज nothing but the type of communication where you will not be using the words. Okay, so now let's see the contents that we will be learning. आज ये नॉन वर्बल कम्युनिकेशन में हम क्या क्या सीखेंगे आज. So let's see those things. Yes. The first thing that we will be learning is about facial expressions. And next about what is this kinesics? We'll be learning about that in this session. Next, we'll be learning about Proxemics. What is this Proxemics and how to use it? So that we will be learning next. And dress and appearance. Dress and appearance. We'll be learning about this also in this session. So these are the 4 things that we will be learning today. The first thing is about the facial expression. Next, we'll be learning about kinesics. We'll be learning about proxemics and then dress and appearance. Okay, so let's get started and let's start with the first thing, that is facial expression. Now, why do we need to use a proper facial expression? Okay. So you might have observed, the first thing whenever you meet a person, you will be observing his face. Based on that, you will come to a conclusion. And you might have heard about a very famous saying, right? The first impression is the best impression. So your facial expression is the first thing that will be noticed by the people. So that is why we need to maintain a proper facial expression. Facial expression मतलब आपका जो चेहरे का जो हाव भाव होता है उसे facial expression कहते हैं. आप चेहरे को किस तरह रखते हैं लोगों के सामने, वो बहुत मैटर होता है. Okay, so let's see why do we need to learn and what are the types of the facial expression, and what are, we'll see some of the expressions that we need to use when we go to an interview, when we meet people, when we are in an organization. So these are the things that we'll be learning in facial. Okay, so let's start with the first thing, that is facial expression. Okay, so let's start with the first concept, which is a very important concept, and that is nothing but facial expression. Okay, so what is this facial expression? Let's see about it. So why it's nothing but it's a motion, or the position of the muscles beneath your skin of the face. So वो आप किस तरह अपने फेस के मसल्स को मूव करते हैं, उसे facial expression कहते हैं. That is called as facial expressions. Okay, so now why it is important? So that is the thing that we need to learn. And before getting into it, it's also important to learn the different types of facial expressions. So how many different types of facial expressions are there? So that is also one of the important thing that we need to learn. Okay, so let's get started with the different types. हम different types देखेंगे facial expressions का. Okay, आप इस पिक्चर में देख सकते हो अलग अलग तरह के facial expressions, जैसे कि happy, sad, fearful, surprised, angry. और जब आप इसे देखते हो, इस फेशियल एक्सप्रेशन को देखते हो, तब आपको पता चलेगा कि एनवायरनमेंट कैसा है और ये क्या होने वाला है, लाइक व्हाट दिस पर्सन विल बी सेइंग और व्हाट दिस पर्सन वुड बी अप टू. सो facial expression will speak about the current mood, and it will also change the environment. Okay, so now let's see the different types of facial expression. So you can see on the screen, these are the different types of facial expression. There are many, but these are the one which are very, very common. Starting with confusion. So confusion is one of the facial expression which is very common. And okay, so you can also try this out. If suppose if you were in a confused state, आप कैसे ये facial expression करेंगे? How will you have this facial expression when you are in a confused state? So you can also try about it. How do you look? And it's like, it's, if I want to say it in Hindi, confusion मतलब कुछ गड़बड़ी ऐसा कुछ, और जहाँ पे बहुत ही confusion हो. So next thing is surprise. Surprise is a very common, and everyone want to be surprised, right? Ashcharya. So surprise is also one kind of facial expression which everyone have experienced it, and you can definitely say just by seeing a person with a surprised facial expression. Shame, next one. The shame means sharm. So, or sharam. So that is a very common facial expression. Now, why we are learning these words? It is very important to know the name for each and every facial expression, because when you are in an organization, आप जब organization में work करने के लिए जाओगे, वहाँ पे आपको बहुत important होगा कि आप किसी और के expression को समझें. तो इसलिए आपको पता होना है कि ये कौन सा expression है, ये कौन सा facial expression है. तो इसलिए बहुत ज़रूरी है कि आपको उसका नाम भी पता हो. It's very important to know the name for a particular facial expression. Okay, so starting with the shame. Shame is nothing but sharm. Then we have focus. Focus, it's the same in Hindi as well. So focus, that is one kind of facial expression. And we have exhaustion. What is this exhaustion? Exhaustion क्या है? Exhaustion facial expression क्या होता है? It's nothing but thakavat, tiredness. When you are tired, you will have an exhaustion facial expression. So whenever you are attending an interview, when you get a job opportunity, when you go for an interview, these are the things that they see. They'll see whether you are exhausted. And how will they come to know? By your facial expression. If you have an exhaustion, thakavat wala facial expression, then they will identify, they'll get that he is tired, बहुत ही थकावट है, ऐसा, they will conclude it. So that is also one kind of facial expression. Then comes anger. Anger मतलब गुस्सा. So that is also very common facial expression, that is anger. Seduction मतलब लालच, वो भी एक facial expression है. Fear, डर. And very common facial expression, we all experience this fear whenever you are scared, your facial expression will suddenly change, and that is also one of the very common kind of facial expression, that is fear. Sadness, udasi. And I want everyone, please take down all these words, because it will definitely help you to know the different meanings, different words, what expression do you say, and even when you are communicating with others, it will be very helpful for you to say the words rather than showing the expression to someone else. So that is why you need to know the respective words for the different expressions. Let's go for the next one, that is happiness. Happiness matlab kushi. Disgust. What is this disgust? And these are the words that we generally use when we are talking to someone else. Disgust मतलब नाराजगी, एक तरह की नाराजगी है, और असंतोष. So that is nothing but disgust. Contempt. Contempt मतलब निंदा, किसी को निंदा करना. जब आप किसी को निंदा करते हो, आपकी जो फेशियल एक्सप्रेशन होता है उसे कंटेम्प्ट कहते हैं. कंटेम्प्ट, CONTEMPT, कंटेम्प्ट. Frustration, nirasha. And the last one is boredom, बोर होना. जब आप बोर होते हो तब आपका facial expression भी change होता है. So these are the different facial expression which you need to know the names for the respective one, as well as you have to make sure that which expression to be used in which situation. Especially when you are attending an interview, we have to make sure that our expression, facial expression is not exhausted. मतलब थकावट वाला expression नहीं होना चाहिए जब आप interview में जाते हैं. और also you should not have a fear expression. Okay? So keep in mind, always we should have a very good expression, like a small smile on your face. Yes. Okay. So let's watch one of the video where you will see the different types of facial expressions.
I'm Vanessa Van Edwards, and I'm a behavioral investigator. Today, I want to talk to you about the 7 universal facial expressions. Dr. Paul Ekman is the one who discovered that our facial expressions show our emotions. And he discovered that across genders, across races, across cultures, there are 7 universal facial expressions. I think that when you read these facial expressions, you can discover and detect the hidden emotions under the words. So you ready to learn them? Let's start with the first one. The first one is disgust. So disgust is the face you make when you smell something bad. So you can try this with me if you want. Just show the upper teeth like this and crinkle your nose up and make that gesture. That is disgust. Now, people make this not only when they taste or smell something bad, but also when they don't really like something. So if you ask a teenager or a friend, hey, what do you think of that new girl? And she's like, you might know what she actually thinks before she says something. The next one is anger. So this one is really important to know before you get into a big fight. Anger is when you see these 2 vertical lines appear between your eyebrows. So with me, if you can pull your eyebrows down and these 2 vertical lines appear, and then harden your lower lids and tense your lips. That is an angry microexpression. The funny thing is, when you do it right, you know you start to feel just a little bit irritated. That's called the facial feedback hypothesis. So not only do our emotions cause our face, but our face also causes our emotions. The next one is sadness. This is the hardest microexpression to fake. So ready? Try it with me. This time we're going to make a frown. So take the corners of your mouth and pull them down as far as they're going to go. Then I want you to puff out your lower lip. Even if it quivers, that's really good. Now pinch the inner corners of your eyebrows together so it looks like this. If you start to tear up, if your eyes start to water, that means you got it right, because that is the precursor expression to crying. The next one is happiness. It's my favorite micro expression. So most people think that happiness is just a smile. But actually, the only true indicator of happiness is when these upper cheek muscles are engaged. And only 1 in 10 people can consciously activate those muscles. So what I want you to do is make a smile. And then I want you to go as far up your face as you possibly can, so you get these nice apples in your cheeks. If you really want to feel it, you can put a pencil in between your teeth and spread your cheeks as wide as possible. It looks like this. That's that nice engagement. You'll know a fake expression, a fake happiness expression, if someone goes, "Yeah, I'm so happy for you," but that smile never quite reaches their eyes. The next expression is fear. So fear is what we do when we're trying to protect ourselves. So let's say that you're hiking in Forest Park and you see a snake. Your eyelids and your eyebrows jump out of the way so you can take in as much as you possibly can. So you open your eyes really wide, you open your eyebrows, and then you go, that is the fear expression. So when you hold that fear expression, you're able to take in oxygen in case you have to fight or flight, and see your environment around you. So if you pull your eyebrows up and widen your eyes, you'll actually begin to feel a little bit anxious. The really close micro expression to fear is surprise. Surprise is a little bit different though. You raise your eyebrows as far up your forehead as you can, and then you drop your mouth open. It's the longest of the micro expressions. So it looks like this. So watch the difference. Fear has flat eyebrows. That's really important for parents. If you're asking someone, "Did you know about that incident at school?" The difference between no and no is a very, very different set of questions. The last one is contempt, and I think this is the most powerful of the micro expressions. It is simply a one-sided mouth raise. Looks like a smirk. Either side of the mouth, any kind of asymmetry, means disdain, pessimism, or hatred, and it's the one you really want to watch out for. So if anyone says something positive along with that smirk, you know you have something to watch out for. Here's a little test for you. Now I want to see if you can guess which micro expression I'm doing. Are you ready? Those are the 7 micro expressions, and I can't wait for you to start seeing them in your own life.
Okay, so that was a wonderful video where you saw different facial expressions. So if you see, some of the important facial expressions was demonstrated by her. And now let's see what are the advantages of facial expressions. First thing is, it will help to create a good first impression. already, which I mentioned before, first impression is the best impression. So whenever you appear in front of a stranger, or whenever you are in an interview or in an organization, आप अभी जब आप इंटरव्यू में होते हैं या ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में, आपका जो फेशियल एक्सप्रेशन है, वो जो स्टार्टिंग में जो आप फेशियल एक्सप्रेशन रखते हैं, उससे मैटर होगा कि आपका इंटरव्यू कैसा चलेगा, मतलब पॉजिटिव मूड रहेगा. तो इसलिए वो एक अच्छा फेशियल एक्सप्रेशन रखना बहुत ज़रूरी है. नेक्स्ट, it can also indicate sarcasm. Sometimes if you want to add some humor, आप कुछ हंसी मजाक ऐसा कुछ कहना चाहते हो, तो आपके फेशियल एक्सप्रेशन से पता चलेगा कि वो एक फन था या कुछ ह्यूमर था. तो इसलिए that is an advantage. And good for communicating silently. Just by changing your facial expression, you can communicate. Suppose if you want to say that you are sad, then you can make up your facial expression to be sad and other person will realize it. अगर आपको sadness facial expression express करना है, तो आप अपने facial expression से ही कर सकते हैं. ऐसा ज़रूरी नहीं है कि आप बताकर किसी को communicate करना है. Next thing is about next advantage. It can indicate hostility or friendliness. जब आप friends के साथ होते हो और जब आप कॉलेज में होते हो, तो यहाँ पे कॉलेज में क्लास में रहते हो, तो दोनों में अंतर होता है अपने अपने facial expression में. There will be difference in the facial expression when you are hanging out with your friends or when you are inside the classroom. So you can actually differentiate it using your facial expression by the way you smile, by the way you move your eyebrows. So that is one of the advantage where you can differentiate between different places. Next thing, it can alter the meaning of what is said. Suppose if you want to convey one message and suddenly if you want to change the message, the intensity of the message, the meaning of the message, that also could be done by changing your facial expression. So these are the different advantages. There are many advantages, but these are some of the advantages. ये कुछ advantages हैं. And the main important point is, why do we have to uh, use this facial expression and why we are learning it now? And since you all know that we'll all be facing the job interviews. सभी को पता है कि आप कुछ दिनों में या कुछ महीने में आप इंटरव्यू फेस करोगे. जब आप इंटरव्यू को फेस करोगे, आपके फेशियल एक्सप्रेशंस आपके एडवांटेज में होना चाहिए. इट शुड बी ऑन योर पॉजिटिव साइड. तो आपका जो सिलेक्शन होने का जो चांसेस है वो थोड़ा बढ़ जाएगा. So that is why it's very important to know about facial expression and what type of facial expression we need to use when we are going to an interview, or when also when you join an organization. जब आप organization को join करते हैं, उसके बाद में जब आप वहाँ पे काम करते हैं, तब कौन सी positive facial expression रखना है, वो जानना भी ज़रूरी है. इसके लिए आपको पहले क्या जानना ज़रूरी है, ये कि किस तरह के फेशियल एक्सप्रेशंस होते हैं, वो जानना बहुत ज़रूरी है. आपने बहुत सारे फेशियल एक्सप्रेशन देखे होंगे अभी. तो okay, so let's move on to the next part of it. That is the different ways to improve your facial expression. Facial expressions को कैसे improve करते हैं? That's an important point to learn. First thing is, you need to know how your face naturally rests. जब आप normally रहते हो, तब आपके facial expression कैसे होता है, और ये कैसे पता चलेगा कि हमारे facial expression कैसे दिखता है दूसरों के लिए. आपको दूसरों से पूछना है. Take something like 5 to 6 people and you ask each one of them, how does your face look generally? Naturally आपके face कैसे दिखते हैं. तो when you ask people, when you ask 5 to 6 people around you, you will get an idea that, okay, this is how my facial expression is, and I need to change it based on the situation. So that's why ask other people and learn to use muscles of your face. Try to practice different kinds of facial expressions so that it will be very easy for you to change it based on the situation. Like now I think like everyone are watching this video, take a moment to try different kind of facial expression. Okay, so now I would suggest one facial expression. I want everyone to try it out at the same time. Okay, so try a facial expression of surprise. Suppose if you are surprised, how will be your facial expression? Just try it out. Okay, so now let's go for the next facial expression. Suppose if you are sad, then how will be your facial expression? Just try that facial expression. अगर आप उदास हो तो आपके facial expression कैसे दिखेगा? Good. Okay. So now try your facial expression when you are happy. जब आप खुश होते हो तो आपके facial expression कैसे हो? So just try it out. Okay. Now try a facial expression when you are smiling, when you are happy from inside and you feel like, okay, this a light smile, a very light smile. Now try the facial expression of contempt, avaman, या कुछ तिरस्कार, contempt, निंदा. So try that facial expression. Okay. Yes, very good. So these exercises actually helps us to be a very helps our muscles to be very free, and that will help us to change our facial expression also frequently when required based on the situation. And next thing is we should know our nervous habits. This is a very very important point. Whenever you are nervous, जब आप nervous होते हो तो आपका face कैसे दिखेगा? तो ये कैसे पता चलेगा? आपको अपने फ्रेंड्स या अपने फैमिली मेंबर से पूछना है, अगर आप नर्वस होते थे कभी, जब कभी भी आप नर्वस होते तो आपके फेस कैसे चेंज होता है? ये क्यों जानना ज़रूरी है? क्योंकि जब कभी आप इंटरव्यू फेस करते हो, whenever you are facing an interview, you have to make sure that you are not carrying that nervous expression at that time. Okay, and to know that, you should know how does it look. So that is why, so today, just after the session, you can go and ask your parents or your friends, ask them, how do my facial expression change when I am nervous? So definitely I think you will get some of the other inputs which you try to improve. So because it's very important to realize what you need to change, right? So whenever you are nervous, definitely our facial expression will change, and that is quite natural. वो natural है. लेकिन जब आप कुछ important situation में होते हैं, जैसे कि और public speaking या कुछ important meetings, तो तब आपको बहुत ही positive facial expression carry करना है. So you have to know, and suppose if you are nervous, you have to make sure that you are not carrying that nervous expression on your face. So that is why you should know your nervous habits. Very good. Okay, so let's continue. Okay, so this is a guessing game. You have to guess what kind of expression is this person showing. You have 4 options on the screen. You just think about the expression that is having, and you can select one number. So think the correct answer. What is this expression given by this man? Okay, I think most of them would have got the answer. And this is exactly, it's angrily disgusted. Disgust वाला, नाराजगी वाला है, लेकिन angry भी है. So it's angrily disgusted. So, and you need to use these terms also whenever you are communicating. You can say, if you find a person with this expression, you can say, okay, I think your face, you know, your expression looks angrily disgusted. So you will get it. And one more thing is that you will also get what kind of expression is that. Okay, so I think many of them would have guessed the first option. Let's see the next expression. Yes. What kind of expression is this? Okay. Yes, it disgustedly surprised. आश्चर्य है और disgust भी है. So it's a mixed expression. Okay, let's go for the next one. Can you guess what kind of expression is this? Okay, and it's happily surprised. Good. So whoever has answered this properly, very good. Okay, so now let's move on to the next very important part of non-verbal communication, and that is nothing but kinesics. Kinesics. It's known as, it's pronounced as kinesics. Now, what is this kinesics? Let's see about it. So, it is nothing but, it is the body movements and the hand gestures. The way you move your body, that is also a way in which you communicate with others. So your body movements, your hand gestures, all these are part of kinesics, and it amounts to more than 50% of the communication between the people. Just think about it. If you're speaking in front of people and you're keeping your hands stiff, आप लोगों के सामने बात कर रहे हो और आप ये हैंड्स को स्टिफ रख रहे हो, तो आपका जो मैसेज आप कम्युनिकेट करना चाहते हो वो इतना इफेक्टिवली कम्युनिकेट या कम्युनिकेट नहीं होगा. इसलिए आपको अपने हैंड्स को मूव करना, हाथ को मूव करना है, और बॉडी भी उसके हिसाब से यू हैव टू मूव. ओके, so that is why, and it's also known as body language, and it's a very common word which everyone would have heard about it. It's body language. So kinesics is nothing but the body language, and which is one of the very important important uh, tool for communication. Okay? ये communicate करने के लिए बहुत ही important tool है. तो kinesics, हम इसके बारे में देखते हैं ये क्या है kinesics, और इसके different कौन सी तरीके हैं, different types of kinesics. So let's go over the first one, that is body posture. It's very important to maintain a proper body posture, especially when you are going for an interview. Uh, it's very important to maintain a proper sitting position. Otherwise, the interviewer may be confused, or interviewer may be uncomfortable because of the way you are sitting. So that is why body posture is a very important body language. Okay, so on the screen, I think you can see a picture where a person tries to maintain a proper body posture by extending his neck, but that makes the interviewer uncomfortable. Okay, so let's see some more things about this body posture.
Over 90% of communication is nonverbal, which means what you do often has a lot more impact than what you say. We spend a lot of our time sitting, and our seated posture can be just as important as our standing posture. Let's say you have an important job interview. You walk in, the interviewer asks you to have a seat. What's the most effective way for you to sit? Do you stand up straight in the chair and fold your hands on the desk? She looks a little stiff and buttoned up, not necessarily the type of person I'd like to hire. Okay, that's a little too relaxed. Invading their personal space. Hands in the lap or folded may be great for Catholic school, but hiding or folding your hands at an interview makes you look shy and closed off. Showing your hands, especially your palms, communicates trustworthiness. And what about crossing your legs? While crossing your legs at the ankles may seem ladylike and proper, closed off. Crossing your legs at the knees often will cause you to sit back and therefore appear a little too relaxed. It can also act as a barrier between you and the other person. So the safest bet for a seated posture, feet on the floor, knees together at a slight angle, ideally pointing toward the person you'd like to impress. This posture, called the figure 4, is a strong, dominating seated posture, very male and primarily American. When you see someone like this, you've most likely encountered someone who is stubborn and unlikely to entertain any opinion but his own. And what about this? Notice how much room, very dominant, aggressive posture. When you want to show direct reports or competitors that you are top dog, this is a great way to sit. Not so great if you're having an encounter with your superior. Straddling a chair may look cool and assertive. However, this person shows his dominance, yet has placed a barrier between him and his listener. Mixed message. And this young woman seems all locked up, come off as reticent, unapproachable, and or uptight. So, the next time someone offers you a seat, take a few moments to make sure you're sitting pretty.
Okay, so that was a very informative video which says, how to sit properly in an. So that gives a very, if you are having a very good sitting posture, that gives a very positive impression about you to the interviewer. Okay, so let's move further. So on your screen, I think you can see two pictures. In the first picture, the person sitting straight, and the second picture leaning towards back, leaning little bit towards back. थोड़ा lean किया हुआ picture है second one. Now, take a time to guess which among these two are the correct sitting posture, especially during an interview. Yes, you guessed it right. The first one is the correct posture to sit. Let's go to the next picture. Yes, can you guess what is the right posture to sit? Keeping interview in our mind, is it the first one or the second one? Yes, I think most of them would have guessed it right, and it is the first one. We should always try to sit straight and not bend towards the interviewer. Okay, so okay, so let's get into the next part of it. Yes, it's very important to stand straight whenever you are walking or whenever you are standing in a organization, or when you're going to an interview, even when you are entering the room. It's very important to have a very steady posture such that you don't look exhausted. And whenever you lean towards, lean forward, जब आप थोड़ा आगे झुकते हो तो आप बहुत ही टायर्ड लगोगे, बहुत ही एग्जॉस्टेड जैसा दिखोगे। तो इसलिए स्ट्रेट बॉडी पोस्चर मेंटेन करना बहुत ही ज़रूरी है। So you can see on the screen there are four pictures there, where if you see the last one, that is the best position to stand, not the remaining one. So you have to analyze, how do I stand? So you need to ask your parents, or maybe you can ask your friends, and you have to identify that body posture, and you have to make it proper. So among all these things, it is, so this is the right posture. And if you see here, so if you stand in this posture, you look very confident. Compared to any other picture. So that is why you need to make sure that you are confident. Okay, so let's move forward. One of the very important uh, body language is the gesture. This is one of the important. If you see most of the successful speakers, अगर आप कोई सक्सेसफुल स्पीकर्स को देखोगे तो वो अपने हैंड जेस्चर को बहुत ही अच्छी तरीके से मेंटेन करते हैं। इसलिए आपको हैंड जेस्चर इसके बारे में ध्यान देना बहुत ज़रूरी है। इट्स वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट to understand the concept of gesture and how to use a proper hand gesture. As you can see on the screen, there are two pictures and there is a blue box area. Whenever you're using your hand gestures, you have to make sure that your hand is moving within that range. आपको ये ध्यान में रखना है कि आपका जो हैंड मूवमेंट है वो इसी एरिया के अंदर हो, जो ब्लू बॉक्स में दिखाया गया। You should not be moving your hands too much, because when you move your hands too much, the other person with whom you are communicating might feel uncomfortable. So that is why you need to give a certain space for your hand gesture and move within that space only. So this is an important point that you need to know, the, the space where you have to move your hands. Let's see the next part. Yes. So you need to make sure that your hands are not stiff. You should not fold your hands whenever you're speaking with someone else. If you're folding your hands, that means you are dominating. So that is why you should not fold your hands and speak. Also, as you can see on the screen, it's mentioned as jazz hands. मतलब हाथ को ज़्यादा घुमाना. So that is also not a good sign of positive body language. So you should make sure that you are not moving it too much. So the ideal way is the middle one. So it is also mentioned as expressive. Don't point towards anyone using a finger when you are speaking, rather than show your palm. As you can see on the screen, जैसे कि आप देख सकते हो स्क्रीन में, जो मिडल वाला है एक्सप्रेसिव, वो अपने पाम को दिखा रहा है, हाथ को दिखा रहा है, पॉइंट नहीं कर रहा है। तो जब कभी भी आप बात करते हो किसी और से या किसी ऑडियंस के सामने हो, तो आपको ये बात ध्यान में रखना चाहिए कि आप किसी को पॉइंट नहीं करना चाहिए। यू शुड शो योर पाम, and that shows that spreads a पॉजिटिव एनर्जी अमॉन्ग ऑल। तो इसलिए आपको हाथ फोल्ड नहीं करना है जब आप बात करते हो, और ज़्यादा मूव भी नहीं करना है, एक्सप्रेसिव रखना है, जैसे कि पॉइंट नहीं करना और पाम को दिखाना। तो इसलिए we need to make sure that we have an expressive gesture। ये इंटरव्यू में बहुत ही इम्पॉर्टेंट पॉइंट है। जब आप इंटरव्यूअर के सामने बैठे होते हो तब आपका जो हैंड मूवमेंट है वो बहुत नोटिस होगा। तो इसलिए आपको स्टिफ नहीं रखना चाहिए, आपको नीचे भी नहीं रखना चाहिए, आपको टेबल के ऊपर रखना चाहिए और अपने हाथ को थोड़े स्पेस के अंदर बहुत ही कामनेस से धीरे से उसको एक्सप्रेस करना है। So this is a very important point. So please make a note of it. Have an expressive hand gesture. Okay, let's see some of the different hand gestures that we have. Whenever you are counting some numbers, जब आप कोई numbers count करते हो, तब आपको fingers use करना है, जैसे कि आप देख सकते हो। आप thumb से भी शुरू कर सकते हैं, 1 1 2 3। तो ये आप आज से प्रैक्टिस कर सकते हो कि अगर आप सोच रहे हो कि मैं मेरे हैंड जेस्चर कैसे इम्प्रूव करूं, मैं मेरा हैंड जेस्चर कैसे इम्प्रूव करूं, तो आप इससे शुरू कर सकते हैं। जब कभी भी आप काउंट करते हो कुछ नंबर को, whenever you are counting the numbers, make sure that you are using your fingers. So this is the first step that you can start. So try it out today. Whenever you are talking some points to your parents, when you're saying to some of your friends, try to use your hand gesture by starting counting the numbers. So this is one of the way to improve your hand gestures, which in turn you're improving your non-verbal communication skill. Let's see the next one. See, whenever you want to say small, you have to make accordingly. Small means a little bit tiny, so you have to show that also. So whenever you want to say big, then you can move both of your hands and you say big. Or if you want to say tiny, you can say this. So this is one of example of hand gesture. Yes. Suppose आपको कहना है कि जब मैं छोटा था, जब मैं बड़ा था. So when you're saying like that, so you have to as you can see on the screen, अब जैसे कि देख सकते हो स्क्रीन में, express it by the level। जब आपका जब आप ऐसे कहते हो कि मैं पहले इतना छोटा था, अभी बड़ा हो गया हो, or maybe if you want to say like before I was staying there down the hills, but now I'm staying on top of the hill. So try to change the intensity. Okay? So this is also one kind of hand gesture that you can use. Yes. As I said, whenever you are saying you or we, notice this hand gesture by both of them. If you see, the first person is showing his palm, but the second person towards the right side is showing his finger. So whenever you are speaking to someone else, make sure that you are following the pattern that the first person is doing, that is showing the palm, not the one as a second person as he is pointing towards someone. Okay? So this is an important hand gesture, especially whenever you are saying like you all. At this time, you have to make sure that you have this hand gesture. And whenever you are saying me, suppose if you want to say me, I, we, I want you all to try out how will be your hand gesture when you say we, or when you say me, or when you say I. So you can try that out also. Yes, and generally when you say me, you point towards yourself. You will not be pointing towards outside. No, you will not be pointing towards others when you are saying me. You will be pointing towards yourself. So that is why this is an important hand gesture. बहुत ही basic hand gesture है। जब आप बात करते हो दूसरों से, जब कभी भी आप आपके जब sentence में, when you are using me, try to point towards yourself, me. And when you are saying you, just show your palm and you say you. So as you saw in the previous picture, not pointing. So this you and me hand gesture is a basic hand gesture which is noticeable, and you find most of them using it regularly. Okay, so this is one more facial expression. When you want to compare both items, you can generally use this hand gesture. You're saying this and that. When you're saying I went here and there. So if you want to compare, जब आपको compare करना है दोनों चीजों से, तो आप इस तरह की hand gesture use कर सकते हैं. And this shows a positive sign, and it has a positive impact on the way you speak and also on the people with whom you speak. और अब देखेंगे कुछ बॉडी लैंग्वेज जो नेगेटिव एनर्जी को स्प्रेड करता है या कुछ नेगेटिव मूड को स्प्रेड करता है. तो लेट्स सी दोज एंड लेट्स ट्राई not to follow these body language. First thing is avoiding eye contact. जब कभी भी आप किसी से बात करते हो, I think I'm sure like most of them would have experienced this. When you're speaking to a person, we try to see somewhere else. We try to see the left side of him or her, or left side of him or her, or right side. So we actually try to avoid seeing the face of others. So that is not a good sign of body language. So we have to make sure that we are facing the person and seeing the person. We should see that person's eyes when you're speaking. We should not see anywhere else. Staring is one of the negative body language which you should make sure that you are not doing this, especially during interviews, because your eyes speaks a lot. So make sure that you are not staring and you are confident enough with a smile on your face. Crossed arm, as I already said, crossed arm is a kind of a gesture which we should not be using, and it's also a negative body language. Whenever anyone is speaking to you, make sure that you are not crossing your hands, even in interviews also. Next thing is overuse of hands. So we should not overuse hands, and we find most of them tapping their fingers, counting their fingers. When they feel nervous, they do that. I think most of them have that kind of weakness. So that is a negative body language, especially pressing the hands, pressing the fingers. This happens when we are nervous and when we are in front of an interviewer in an interview situation. This is a very very common body language. इसलिए हम इस बॉडी लैंग्वेज को बहुत कम करेंगे. ओवर यूज ऑफ हैंड्स. लुकिंग एट वॉच, क्लॉक और फोन, ये बहुत ही कॉमन है. जब कभी भी आपको पता करना है कि आपका जो सामने आप किस बात कर रहे हो वो आपसे आपसे बात करने के लिए इतना इंटरेस्टेड नहीं है, तो आप ये बहुत ही आसान से देख सकते हैं कि वो अपने क्लॉक को चेक करेगा या मोबाइल फ़ोन को चेक करेगा. So it's like a very common, sorry, watch ko check karega. So it's a very common thing, We find people checking their watch, or even taking their smartphones and typing something in the smartphone or seeing the notification in the smartphone. So when someone does that in front of you, you feel very bad, isn't it? In a similar way, we should also not do this. So that is why we should make sure whenever you are talking to someone, make sure that you are not doing this thing. Once you complete it, then you can do either watching either seeing the watch or seeing the smartphone. Okay, so here when I say seeing this smartphone and seeing the watch, it is not like seeing it one. You should not do it frequently. Suppose if you want to see the time, then definitely you can see the watch. But seeing it frequently, seeing it again and again, that is a sign of negative body language. Poor posture, that is also one of the negative body language. Leaning towards front is a very common negative body language. Frowning, udas wala look. So whenever you frown in front of people, you are spreading a negative energy. So इसलिए we should not carry this facial expression, and it is also a part of a body language which you should avoid. It's part of a negative body language, that is frowning. Okay, so let's move forward to the next part. And now I request, let's take a break for 3 minutes. I think you can mark your attendance. You can mark your attendance. So attendance would have been sent to you in your group, in the Kaizala group. So please mark your attendance and take a break for next 3 minutes, 3 to 4 minutes. Okay, welcome back. Okay, so now let's see the next important part of non-verbal communication, that is proxemics. क्या है ये proxemics? Proxemics is nothing but the space between the people. It explains how people perceive space to achieve communication goals. जो लोगों के बीच के जो अंतर होता है उसे proxemics कहते हैं. Or this happens unknowingly. No, you will be knowing that okay, this is the distance that I need to maintain. You won't be measuring it. आप measure नहीं करोगे, आपको पता चलेगा कि अच्छा ये distance मैं इस आदमी से या इस औरत से रखना चाहिए और इस person से रखना चाहिए. So it's kind of cautiousness which you maintain so that you will have a very good communication with the person in front of you. Okay, so let's see the different types of proxemics. First one is public space, which is nothing but near to 12 feet or more. So whenever you are giving a public space or whenever you are speaking in front of a large crowd, you need to maintain a certain distance, that is 12 feet or more. So this zone is especially reserved for formal occasions like in reception halls, or in something waiting areas also where you find many people. Whenever you are in public, you have to make sure that you maintain a certain distance, and that is called as public space. So one of the very important space that you need to learn in proxemics is public space. So you find generally the public speakers addressing the public with this distance. नेक्स्ट वन, अगला स्पेस है social space. So this is a very common space that we all encounter. So we need to make sure that our voice is heard to the other person. We have to make sure we have a good eye contact with that person. Otherwise, you won't get any message from the other side. So whenever you're meeting, and this is very important in an interview also. So during an interview also, you need to make sure that you maintain a certain distance between you and interviewer to have a very good communication. Okay, so this is called as social space. And the next one is personal space. आपके friends के साथ या parents के साथ. So जब कभी भी आप बात करते हो तो आपको personal space maintain करना चाहिए. So this is the third kind of space, that is personal space. Let's see the next one. And the next one is intimate space, so which is less than 1.5 feet from body. So you need to be very careful, especially like with whom to have to be in an intimate space. So you can easily judge others. If at all they are in an intimate space, then you can easily judge their intentions and the way the thing that they are going to communicate. So now during an interview, it's very important to maintain a social space between you and the interviewer. Let's look at this video which says about proxemics.
Cultural anthropologist Edward. Let's get started. Keep in mind as we go through this that the use of space varies between cultures. If you are from a Western culture like the United States and your friend is from Latin America, you probably feel a bit uncomfortable when your friend stands a little closer to you than you would like. You feel as if she is crowding you or encroaching on your personal space, sometimes called your personal space bubble. You may also see this difference in personal space within cultures. Men, as an example, tend to desire twice as much space between them as women. And yes, culture refers to more than just race or ethnicity. Space also varies based upon the occasion. If you are working on a project with someone, You will probably reduce the amount of space between you, if only so you can all see the computer screen. And if you are posing for a photograph, it's very common to hear the photographer plead for you to all stand closer and act as if you like each other. And of course, as we are all individuals, we all have our own individual preferences about space. However, that doesn't negate the research on proxemics. Back to Edward T. Hall and his findings on proxemics. While Hall's research was conducted in the United States in the 1960s, the basic concepts can be applied across cultures and still seem relevant today. For example, the distance between communicators typically helps us identify the type of relationship they have. Okay, in this first photo, there are probably other nonverbal indicators that communicate that these two are sisters, like a family resemblance. And in the second photo, the two men are co-workers in the UK enjoying a quick pint after a hard day of guiding us tourists around their country. Additionally, proxemic behavior tends to be learned implicitly by observing others. We are less likely to explicitly instruct others as to what an appropriate distance is in various situations. Hall identified 4 zones or distances, starting with intimate distance, ranging between 0 and 18 inches. Yes, 0 inches, or skin contact. This is the distance used for romantic partners and very close or your core family members. You kiss, hug, whisper, even fight at this distance. Extending that distance out to 4 feet creates personal distance. Your extended family members and close friends are allowed to enter this zone. Of course, you will invite or tolerate only some at the closer range. Others, you'll keep at arm's distance. Social distance, at 4 to 12 feet, is often used for acquaintances and colleagues. And beyond 12 feet is classified as public distance, often used in public speaking situations and with strangers you want to maintain your distance from. These distances, of course, are measured horizontally. However, vertical distances can also be analyzed.
Okay, so in this video, you have observed the different kind of spaces that we need to maintain whenever we are communicating with people, and that forms a very important part. So proxemics is a very important part, is one of the important part of body language and non-verbal communication. Okay, so let's move on to the next part of it, and it's also an important one. It is the dress and appearance. So I would like to show you one video regarding this one, regarding dress and appearance.
I love Leonardo DiCaprio. I saw him for the first time in the movie Titanic. He was just so cute and attractive, and I'm pretty sure I am not the only one who fell in that way. When I watched The Inception and The Great Gatsby, oh my god, I fell in love with him again. So you probably understand how shocked I was when I saw these photos on Google. It's really hard to believe that they are the same person. So what makes difference? That's the topic we're gonna introduce today. Clothing. Clothing matters. Clothing is worth your 1,000 words. It is a very effective nonverbal communication tool for 2 reasons. First, it affects how other people perceive you and behave towards you. There are a lot of research to prove this. For example, if you wear a suit and then cross the street against the traffic light, 3.5 times as many people will follow you as when you just wear work shirt or trousers, work shirt and trousers. Also, during negotiations, people in a suit are more likely to have a profitable deals than people in sweatshirts. And secondly, more importantly, it affects how you think of yourself, your self-confidence. We just did our power pose, Amy's power pose, like us for women or us for men. It helps us feel the power and confidence. And in fact, clothing can give you the same effect. It turns out that people in superhero clothing are more confident mentally and physically. So find your own superhero clothing. They fit you well and also make you feel very confident.
Okay, so as you have observed in the video, the famous personality that she mentioned, Leonardo DiCaprio. So if you see him in movies, I think we all have seen in movies, Titanic movie, and in other movies as well. The way he appears in the movies and the way he was spotted outside walking on the street. This is like two different things, and it's very difficult to understand, to identify that it was an actor. So similarly, your dress, the thing that you wear is also a part of non-verbal communication, where without even saying anything, you are expressing or giving some information to others. Now, whenever you are attending an interview, I'm sure like everyone will get this opportunity of attending the interviews. So when you go to the interview, it's very important to have a proper dress so that you appear confident. So there are certain dresses that you need to wear, which will be covered in the personal interview session. Uh, for example, Indian formal or Western formal. So these kind of dress shows that you are confident, and और वो ये मैसेज स्प्रेड करेगा कि आप इसके बारे में सीरियस हो और आप उसे बहुत मानते हो, or maybe that you are taking that you are taking the interview to be very serious. Okay, so that is why every situation has different kind of clothing that we need to maintain. You might see some like in funerals there's a different kind of dress that people wear, and if you see party, that's a different party wear. So every situation, why is that we are wearing different clothes? Because there we are communicating and we are adjusting to the situation, and you are being in that situation so that you indicate that you are taking the situation seriously, and also you want to spread a message that you are an important person in that situation. So dressing and the way you appear is one of the very important part in non-verbal communication. So let's revise what we learned today. The first thing that we learned was about the facial expression, the different types of facial expression, and what is the expression that we need to carry and how to practice different facial expressions. Next, we saw about the kinesics, which is nothing but the body language, how to maintain a proper body language, what are the different hand gestures that we need to use, अलग अलग तरह की हैंड जेस्चर्स जो हमें यूज करना है उसके बारे में हम सीखे थे. और उसके बाद में प्रॉक्सिमिक्स मतलब स्पेस, डिस्टेंस बिटवीन पीपल, कितना अंतर रखना है लोगों के बीच में, स्पेशली जब आप इंटरव्यू में जाते हो तो आपको सोशल स्पेस रखना है. नेक्स्ट वी सॉ अबाउट द ड्रेस एंड अपीयरेंस. So during an interview, we need to have a formal dress, and different situation demands different type of dress. So these are some of the very important points that we need to remember when we are communicating with others, and non-verbal communication accounts more than 70% of the part in a 70 percentage of your information. Okay, so saying this, thank you everyone for for attending this session. So let's meet with one more session tomorrow at the same time.